Alright there folks, welcome to another Fishing Adventures Bite Size, and we're all talking about the winter rig today, the tiny little pole float that I would use for maggot fishing on a commercial or a natural water through winter. Now this is a very small, slim bodied carbon stem float by Jazz Floats, and that is 0.3 gram, okay, and that is my go-to rig through winter without fail. And the reason I choose to use this float, and I would fish this up to 5 or 6 foot as well, because maggots, as we all know, take an absolute age to get to the bottom. And it's that fall that's going to attract the silverfish. Okay, they're going to see the movement and they're going to go and check it out. If you're fishing a commercial, the carp aren't really hungry. They're not grubbing around on the bottom as much. It's that visual thing. If they see a bait wafting down really slowly, they might just think, yeah, I'll have a crack at that. But we're talking about silvers. So a nice slim bodied carbon stem float. And how I would shot this is I would plumb up, obviously, and as I said, even in 4 or 5 foot of water, I would spread the shot all the way through the line. So I've got one just below the float, another couple, and then one just above the hook length loop. Okay, so that will give a very slow natural fall of that hook bait. Okay, because the last thing you need, especially in winter, is that hook bait going in with a bulk and getting straight into the bottom, say, foot of water, and you're missing out on the fish that are potentially cruising in the upper layers. Okay, attraction is key, and the only way you're going to achieve that is to use a really light float with a carbon stem. Just drop it in and just let it settle naturally on its own. Okay, it's going to take ages, but if you're used to the float pattern, you're going to notice the little dinks and the knocks and how it settles, and you're going to see those bites as it's been intercepted. So give it a try. Lightest float that you possibly can use in your box with a carbon stem, a nice thin bristle as well. Okay, that's just a little 1mm bristle, and it's absolutely mint at picking up those tiny little delicate bites. So that would be my recommendation for that. Okay, now the other question that I got asked recently was, how long should the lash be between pole float and pole tip? That is a bit of a can of worms question, to be honest. Personal choice, I tend to use either from a minimum 6 inches in summer up to about 18 inches in winter. Okay, now there's a few factors that you need to bear in mind in that. Let's talk about winter, because we're in winter. I use a longer lash in winter because the water tends to be clear, and the last thing I want is my pole float to be sitting there perfectly presenting a bait, and then above it, about here, is a pole flapping around over the top, because it potentially could spook those fish. So a longer lash is going to allow you to move that pole tip out of the way, and it won't spook the fish as much. Okay, now another component that I do use on my lashes is back shot. Even in summer on flat calm days, I will always have 3 number 8 shot on there, positioned in a place where that float will sit nice, calm and gently. So even if I'm feeding or I'm wobbling the pole slightly, it's having an effect on those back shot as opposed to the float, because as soon as that float moves, your presentation is going to suffer, and that is the last thing you want. In summer, I tend to use a really short leash, because you're putting it in, the bait's getting down there, and you're expecting a bite almost straight away. Okay, so you're feeding, placing it in, feeding again, pole pot, whatever. You've got that rhythm and that routine going. Your lash doesn't really make a massive difference. Okay, but again, it's all personal choice, because it does depend on the weather. But if you're fishing in weather and your pole is blowing literally left and right, and it's affecting your back shot and it's affecting your presentation, then no matter what length of lash you use, your presentation is going to suffer. And if you've got it too long that your pole can flap around like crazy and you get a bite, the chances are you're going to miss it, because your lash is too long. You're not going to connect straight away with that fish. In winter especially, they're going to be really tiny little delicate knocks that you might not always register straight away. So having a short leash as better is going to be more productive for you. So just have an experiment, but I'd start off probably 12-18 inches, get a feel for it, use some back shot, get used to how they affect the presentation as well, and just play with it. But yeah, as a general rule of thumb, 12 to 18 inches and just take it from there. Okay, so I hope that helps. I hope that's cleared up some things. I feel like it could have caused more confusion there, but anyway, that's my winter rig. Give it a go and let me know how you get on. Cheers.